Hey everyone, it's Strange Michael. I hope you're doing well today. I have a video here to make about the news that I was also late on from like 2 weeks ago. Around the time we got the announcement about Blair Witch getting a new film from Blumhouse of all people, there was news that also popped up within a day or so, which I thought was kind of funny and kind of ironic, to be honest with you, for a new Scary Movie. Now, if you don't know what Scary Movie is, basically if you were a 2000s kid or a 90s kid, you probably saw these films that were parodies of horror films. The first one, Scary Movie 1, being a parody of Scream. I don't remember what 2 was about. I think I didn't see that one as much. Scary Movie 3 was my personal favorite growing up. I don't know how well these movies aged, but I loved Scary Movie 3 when it was on TV as a kid. It was about Signs from M. Night Shyamalan, a bunch of other really good things they parodied, like 8 Mile as well. Yes, the Eminem movie. Saw 4, or Saw in general, was in Scary Movie 4's intro, which I thought was really funny too, starring Dr. Phil, and I think it was Shaq in the beginning, I believe. It was a parody of the Saw movies in the beginning, and it was great. I loved that too. I never saw Scary Movie 5, which I believe was a Paranormal Activity parody most of the time, with Charlie Sheen and Ashley Tisdale of all people. Haven't seen it, need to see it, basically, at some point. I already planned on reviewing all of these films sometime this year. Probably not like in the fall, maybe sometime soon, maybe in the summer. I hadn't really thought of when to review these, but I knew I wanted to for you guys, because these were a big part of my childhood. At least the original 4 were, mainly 1, 3, and 4. I watched all the time on rental and on DVD, TV, I meant. I used to watch them all the time. And I haven't seen them in over 10 years. It's been a long time, maybe closer to 15 years at this point. Because, you get older, you get other interests, the MCU came around, you get distracted. Started getting into books and reading in high school, so all of the stuff I used to watch on a regular basis, like Star Wars, just kind of got pushed to the side as I got older. But that happens. So I want to talk about these at some point for you guys. But the announcement of getting a new Scary Movie parody film in the vein of like Hot Shots and Airplane, if you love those films, you need to check these out. From the people I assume who also originally worked on other things that I'm assuming came from the same group, like Superhero Movie starring Drake Bell. It was a parody of the Sam Raimi Spider-Man films. If you haven't seen it, go watch it. You will laugh, I promise. If it's aged as well as I remember. The Scary Movie movies, I don't know how much I can recommend them or not recommend them because I don't know how well they age. They could be better in my brain from nostalgia than they might actually be if I go back to rewatch them sometime soon. It's hard to get packs with all of these movies in them, just so you know. I was going to buy a pack with like 2, 3, and 4 or 1 through 4 in them, but I can't get one with all 5 for some reason. I looked and looked, planned on buying one sometime soon. Haven't seen it. I don't know what's going on with that. But you'd think it'd be easier. Maybe they changed like rights up or something. Maybe somebody bought them out. I don't know. But I know that the Scary Movie films also did a spin-off called A Haunted House 1 and 2, I believe, with Marlon Wayans. I don't think I've seen those, so I need to see those at some point too. Also, I think a parody of Paranormal Activity. That's a lot of paras, I had to say. Forgive me. So what could they do with Scary Movie in 2024? Number one, if they would stick to their non-PC guns, which I doubt will happen, but if they did, they could make a really good comedy. They could bring back comedy. Keep it raunch, like the original Scary Movie was. These films were not clean. They had child death, they had elderly death, they had a lot of things in them. You don't have to make it a slasher mystery like the original film was from Scary Movie when it was a parody of Scream. You don't have to do anything like that. Look to the things that are big icons now, like Hereditary, or The Witch, or Blumhouse, for God's sake. Make fun of all of these companies. Make fun of Jason Blum, for God's sake. Make fun of, Jamie Lee Curtis and Halloween Ends especially needs to be a target on the board, in my opinion. But could you imagine, like, parodying the scene from Witch when the girl's playing peekaboo with the baby, the younger sibling baby, and then it goes missing. But like, let's say she looks up at the woods and sees somebody running into there and she hears a fart noise, right? Like something stupid like that was what Scary Movie would do. These were not intelligent comedies once upon a time. This is the time to make them a little bit more goofy and more clever, to make fun of this art house bullshit that we keep getting that's the excuse for horror. Yeah, some of it's really good, like Hereditary, but a lot of the stuff like Lighthouse would be a great thing to parody in here. Despite that not really being a horror movie, but kind of having essences of that, these films, again, did not just parody horror films, they had other things they made fun of as well. You could make fun of the new Ghostbusters films. You could make so many good, almost South Park types of comedy and tier if they would just stick away from the PC bullshit and do something really clever with this. The art house thing needs to be the biggest thing they hit on the board, or elevated horror, whatever you want to call this bullshit trend that's happening right now to disguise poor character writing, poor character choices, just atmosphere and good atmosphere on top of that with good scores. We need to get away from this bullshit and make fun of that stuff so it kind of gets away from the horror genre and people stop using it as an excuse to make boring horror movies. Let's see, what else could they talk about? I thought of a whole list. As soon as I got in front of the camera, I forgot it. Had to record this a couple of times, couldn't get my video down properly, but here we are, on the spot. I was trying to think of what else we could parody in general. You could parody the whole constant recurring comeback of things like Child's Play. You could make fun of Freddy and Jason not being able to get their rights issues down enough to be able to get a new movie. You could do a lot of stuff here, and I'm not really sure what the setting should be. I guess if I was making it, I would make an entire parody just on the art house stuff. Maybe not dedicated to something like The Witch, like a period piece. Maybe have Brenda from the original films come back and be dressed up in like an Amish outfit the entire movie. I don't know. There's a lot of good ways you could go with this. I don't know if I want like the original actors and actresses back like Anna Faris. Maybe, maybe not. I don't even think Anna Faris and the Brenda character made it to 5. I don't think so. I didn't see 5, like I said. But I know they were in the original 4 quite a bit. They were fun. They parodied Grudge, and I think even The Ring at one point when Brenda fought her. There's so many things they could do that could be classic throwbacks to some of the old ones. But you know who I'd love to see in this? Chris Pratt. I wish they'd bring him in. I know people are sick of seeing him and everything, but I am not. I love the man. I think his acting and comedy chops are brilliant. I would love to see a lot of big-name actors in here, but they're not going to do it after what happened with Movie 43. They will never do shit like this ever again. Even as joking cameos, like Chris Evans, you'll never see in something like this. If he popped in as a leading man to make this movie better, I would love that. Chris Hemsworth would be a great actor to have in here. His improv comedy and whatnot are so good. I would love to see him in something like this, because he's the only good thing about Ghostbusters 2016, matter of fact. I love the guy's jokes. I think he's really, really clever. Again, his comedic timing is perfect on the things that he does. There would be a lot of good ways to go, but again, I really think the art house topic is what we need to hit with this bullshit. Not so much a sequelitis thing, like a lot of people would probably jump to it immediately, ideally, for this movie topic. But maybe we could just parody Lighthouse. Maybe make it a slasher, but have it like more than just 2 characters in the lighthouse. I don't really know what I would do concept-wise. I'd love to hear your ideas down below. Maybe we shouldn't do this to try to give them ideas, because it was just kind of announced. I haven't heard anything else about what else they're doing. But I would like for them to get away from the too cartoonish nature of like Saw 4, or Scary Movie 4, for God's sake. That's the one that I thought was too much, and I guess it's the reason I never made it to watch Scary Movie 5. But I would like for them to get away from the cartoonish nature and get a little bit bigger of a budget like the first 3 had. But even so, with all that said, we don't have Leslie Nielsen anymore, so we can't have him in here, which is sad. He was so fucking funny, dude. I love Leslie Nielsen. He's a legend of comedy and acting in general. So anyway, what I would say is go check out the original at least 3 movies, maybe even 4, because I do like that one from hindsight. I just remember it looking distinctly cheap, like I said. But I would love to hear your ideas on what they should do with this movie. Should they parody like Stephen King? Maybe we could parody a Stephen King movie and do modern day jokes and references about current films like Art House and, you know, The Witch and Hereditary and all of that with a Stephen King ripoff setting. Like maybe do Stephen King's It. That'd be a great idea. Have some characters there. You could have the child actors and the adult actors. Maybe do some jokes about, you know, the Scream casting, what's happening with Scream 7 and Melissa Barrera and Jenna Ortega. Maybe make fun of that. Maybe certain scenes, the actors or the 2 actresses would just change actors in general. Just never explain it, just do it. You could do something like that to parody them getting kicked off of Scream 7 and Jenna Ortega quitting. I think that'd be funny. I think there'd be a lot of stuff people would get that would be funny. The problem with this type of film, this parody mentality, is usually it's stuck in a trend at a certain time in history. And if you weren't there for that, in the future you're not going to remember most of it unless you were around at that time. These films need to make money. They don't need to be classics of all of history. You know, maybe we could try to aim for that, but I doubt you could with a parody about current day trends in Hollywood horror. So I don't know. Maybe there's a lot of ways we could go with this, but Hollywood in general and culture in general are so damn sensitive to everything. No one has a spine anymore and can tolerate a joke. I doubt that we would ever get a Scary Movie 3 ever again. Anthony Anderson and Kevin Hart were so funny in that with the jokes they had to make that I don't think we'll ever get it. But anyway, I really enjoy these movies, or at least I did when I was a kid. I plan on reviewing them at some point, like I said, and I'm excited for a new Scary Movie. If you happen to be too, I'd love to hear your thoughts about it down below, and again, what are your ideas on what they should do with this? I think it could be fun. Maybe make fun of merchandising and how people are in their 60s walking around with like shirts of fucking, I don't know. Maybe make fun of Disney and Goosebumps, what they did with it in 2023 where they slaughtered the lamb right there on screen in front of everybody. Make fun of streaming, and I don't know, do something like that. There's all kinds of ideas you could go for this, but I don't know the direct path they should follow, if I'm being honest with you. Anyway, let me know everything you think about this idea and this news down in the comment section down below. I'd love to hear all of it. Thank you all for watching, guys. God bless you all. Catch you later, and goodbye.